Now that I have to make the best zombie game ever made, here's the plan. The main idea is to make a roguelike multiplayer zombie game. You start as a survivor that slept in, and now you have to survive until the rescue helicopter comes and saves you at the end of day 10. You as the player will have to fight zombies and hunger, and every night the horde will gain your general position along with being stronger. Any unfortunate soul that dies will have the option to stay a ghost and wait for a survivor to find a defibrillator and be revived, or become a zombie and troll the remaining players. To make this possible, I'll be using Entities Apocalypse Pack, link down below. So in order to make this epic multiplayer survival game, you need zombies. But I've never actually made any AI before, so I'll start with something more familiar: inventories. To give me a head start, I'm going to reuse an inventory system I made for my game called Mine Deeper and make it better. Once it's done, I'll put it on GitHub, and if people are really interested, I'll put it on the Unity Asset Store. First off, we make a new project using Unity and rename the project. Then once you get in, I'm going to change my layout, and then for the player, I'm going to add a... I'm sorry guys. The first thing I did was import all of my inventory stuff from Mine Deeper. The first feature I added to the inventory system was tooltips, but it looked weird, so I gave it a timer before it would show up, and it looked better. Now at this point, I was a little tired of the player looking like a... I have since grown up and will not let that happen again. I then imported the Polygon Apocalypse pack from Syntity and put my new player model on my boy. Before going any further, I put everything into an organized color board because it makes it look like I know what I'm doing and keeps me on track so I can make progress. But right now, it's just a menu, so I'm going to add some movement, and I'll just yoink the code from my game Tanked Out, which is a big time save. What's that? You don't know what Tanked Out is? I'm glad you asked. It's just a little game I've made and published on Steam over the summer. Go check it out, gamers! So now that you can move around, it's time to move the inventory to a more permanent spot. Why? Okay, I fixed the menus messing around. And now I'll just make sure the hotbar works by putting the crowbar in. And now it's sideways. I also added jumping. Now, I need to make my inventory sprites look a little bit more professional. So I got the Syntity Apocalypse UI pack while it was 10% off. First I started with adding the hotbar sprites, and then I also added a number underneath each hotbar slot that changes depending on what key you have to push to select it. Next on the list is to make the inventory expandable and able to handle any type of item. I achieved this by making an item base class that inherits from the scriptable object class, so that way I can edit it in editor, and any special items will inherit from the item base class. Now all I need to do to make a new item is right click and add any item type I've made and change the values accordingly. But now the items have been a little boring. So to fix that, I made them float and have an outline that matches their rarity. But that's all I had time for day 1. At the start of day 2, I needed to fix the jank before doing anything new, so I made a triplanar shader that will tile a texture on any mesh without needing to UV map it. Next on the schedule is to change up the main inventory sprites to match the look I'm going for. I then finally fixed the new item pop-up menu not going away after 5 seconds. I then also updated its sprites. I also made items fall back on the ground if you went too far away to pick them up. And then I also stopped jumping from sending you to the moon. Now that all the jank is gone, I added controller support using Unity's new input system. Now my pickup text was looking a little lonely, so I fixed them up to fit with the theme. Then I added controller icons when the main input type becomes a controller. And then I made that system completely modular, so I was able to make it so you didn't need to stop hovering over them to switch icons. It had the added benefit of making the code much smaller and easy to handle. Now I have a new problem. My inventory is copying block game, and I can't be seen doing that. So I made it so instead of putting items on the top row and copying the data into the hotbar itself holds the data. This will help me in the future when I copy Daisy instead and make some items take more slots than others. So I just added third person and it looks bad. So to fix this, I tried to make it transition faster, but it was still wrong. So I made it instantly change your view instead, which made it feel a lot better.
So no head?
Now my guy's been looking kinda stiff, so we need some animations, but that's a lot of work. And that's where Mixamo comes in. They have a ton of great animations where you can change the settings and get different variations. Thanks Mixamo, very cool. And 10 minutes later, all animations are now in game and working perfectly. Now it's time to add the ability to use items. I just need to get the player's input, and when you push the action button, it plays the current item's animation, which obviously worked first try. After some headbanging, I finally got the player not looking like a fool. But some of the animations look a little off right now, but we'll fix that next episode. I tried doing a walkthrough of the process of making a new item because it's so much simpler now, but I must have been on something because it took me 6 minutes to make one item. So here's the clip of me losing it. Subscribe because next video I'm beating up this tree and more. Smash like if you like, smash dislike if you don't, and I'll see you next time.